Well, hello everybody, it's Danny and Wanda back from Pecan Grove. We are out in we call it our dog pen garden out here because we have to have it to grow anything here. And we've been harvesting the greens. Miss Wanda's picking the leaves off of some of them here. We learned a valuable lesson this year, something I've never really paid any attention to, and I always tell you that if when I learn something, I want to pass it on. And that is, do not plant your kale with any of your other greens. We've learned that. This year, we had turnip greens here. The purple top turnips was up front. We had kale. Then we had mustard or tender greens. And then we had the rutabagas. What happened was the kale, the aphid, I don't know if it's an aphid or thing here, we called it an aphid, but it's not really eating the leaves. They're really huge under the bottom of the leaves, and they're kind of a white color. They don't seem to have a head, and they don't seem to crawl. They're like stuck to the bottom of the leaf, and you can't wipe them off. You can't wash them off.
Well, in salt water
they come loose. But whatever it is, we've never had that before. They attack the kale first, and then they begin to migrate out from the kale into the purple top turnips here. They started coming on this end of them, and then the tender greens, they started going into the end of them, barely working their way through them, but they completely covered the kale. So we came in and we're just wiping everything out of here. We're just taking it all out. Except for the rutabagas down there now, because they haven't formed a root on the rutabagas yet. And and plus we was at a point where the tender greens were starting to go to seed because the weather has just been so crazy here. Usually we would have had the greens and been over with, but we planted 1/4 of an acre of them up yonder. And the deer came in and mowed everything down up there. So thus the dog pen garden, we put that here. No problem with the deer. Well, since we're taking all of the greens out of here, Wanda and I love sweet corn. Now, we don't go for the super sweets and the G90s and the peaches and creams. We don't do all that kind of stuff. We mainly stick with an heirloom corn. We normally go with the Stowell Evergreen because that one, we've planted the Bantam and we've planted all the other heirlooms. And the Stowell Evergreen seems to be the one that does the best for us. It's a white sweet corn, and it's very sweet. We've had some in the freezer for up to 4 years, and when we take it out to eat it, it's still not freezer burned. It's still just like it was the day we put it in there. Now, of course, I've mentioned to y'all in the past that when you harvest sweet corn, from the time you pull that ear, you got about 45 minutes to no more than an hour before it needs to either be in a bag in the freezer or processing to go in to be canned. Which we don't can our sweet corn because it causes it to caramelize because of the length of time you have to do it, and we don't care for that. Now, what I want to share with you, and we're going to put the sweet corn in the dog pen thing here because we have so much trouble with the deer, the coons, all this kind of stuff that it's a little bit easier for us to monitor it in here. Now, Wanda and I, years past, we know that it takes about 100 to 125 ears for us to be able to have enough for us to last all year in the freezer for us. Well, Wanda caught me doing something that she's never seen me doing before. And that is, I had a calculator out, and I was calculating the width of this thing. And if I put 3 rows in it, and I plant the seeds this far apart, which sweet corn needs to be at least no less than 8 inches. They need to be 8 inches or more apart in order to grow a decent ear. And I was doing the math on the length of this thing, which is 40 feet. And I was just doing the math, trying to make sure we could get our 100 ears or 125, 150. How many ears could I end up with if I put them 8 inches apart, did 3 rows, 3 foot off the fence, then 3 foot, and then 3 foot, because it's a 10 foot wide, and I figured on 9s. So I just said 369, and that gives me what I need for my rows. I came up with around 150 to 175 ears. Well, when we were in town, we walked through Walmart because I like to look at their plants to see, because believe it or not, Walmart in our town has some of the prettiest plants. Everybody else is just sitting out in the hot sun and they're wilting down during the day. Walmart here has a shade cover over theirs, and it's all from the same companies. So I said, well, let me go in and look at the plants. Well, while I was in there, I walked past a rack, and Ferry Morris, I've used their seeds many times in the past, and they've done good. I haven't had any problems with them. But I've noticed this year, it's all about marketing, because when I walked past this rack, I looked and there was the Stowell Evergreen. And I told Wanda, I said, we have a lot of Stowell Evergreen we've saved ourselves, but I didn't have any fresh seeds for the last, I don't know, it's been 5 years, I guess, 4, maybe 5 years since I've saved any of my own seed, because I saved several big gallons of them, let them dry on the stalk. And I looked down and I seen her and I told her, I said, wow. I said, look at this. They have yellow Stowell Evergreen. I said, I've never seen a yellow Stowell Evergreen that's an heirloom. So I bought everything in the whole thing there and just brought them home. And I know a lot of y'all probably don't do that, but I do. I buy everything that I want when I buy it. I buy them all. And when I come home, I looked and I had some packs from 2016. I dug through my seeds, and these are 2016. These are 2023 to 24. And look at the difference here now. I want you to look at the difference in them. The old pack shows it as white corn. The new pack shows it as a golden yellow corn. Well, I told Wanda, I said, I just gotta look, So
You read the back first.
I read the back. Let me see if I can find it here. I ain't got my glasses on, but let me see if I can find it here. Okay, here it says large. As long as I get it way away from me, I can see it. Large 8-inch ears are filled with tender white kernels. One of the best for canning and table eating. Remains in table condition longer than most other corns. That's why we like it, because it was created to be that way. But notice it said tender white kernels. Guys, does that look like white kernels to you? The new marketing. This is the true Stowell Evergreen, the white right there, the older version. It's all about marketing. That yellow catches your eye when you walk past it. This is a lie, okay? That's what I want to tell you guys about. Be careful. Be careful about what you buy. Now I'm not trying to down Ferry Morris, because I still plant their seeds. But what I want to do is, let me show you something here. I open this just to look for myself. Look at that. It is not yellow corn. It is white corn in the pack. Now, not knowing how many seeds was in the pack, because it doesn't tell you. It just tells you that there's 6.3 grams in this pack. I don't know how many seeds that is. I opened them. There's roughly 35 seeds per pack, which I paid $1.50 for 35 seeds. That's kind of expensive to me, but nevertheless, it's what I wanted, and I'm going to plant them just to see, how they do. Now, what I really want to convey, the message to convey to you all, is when you go to the store to buy seeds, whether it's Ferry Morris, I don't care what company it is, Burpee, whatever, be aware of marketing schemes, because when I saw this, I thought to myself, wow, there's yellow Stowell Evergreen. I'm like, I've never seen a yellow Stowell Evergreen. I said, let me look at that and just go home and Google it or whatever and see if it's still an heirloom. Now, it'll tell you that it's non-GMO and all that kind of stuff. Wrote right there, it's not genetically modified or anything like that. And when I got home, I actually read on the back of it, it says tender white kernels. And I looked back at the front and I said, It's all about marketing. It's whatever appeals to the eye. And Ferry Morris is an old company. They've been around since the mid-1800s. I mean, they're a very old company. Now, I'm not endorsing them by no means. They don't endorse us, so we don't have an affiliate link or nothing like that. This just picked up at Walmart. So I've got my 3 rows started here behind me. Now, this what we're doing back here, this is unconventional for me because I cannot get a tractor in here. We tilled this back in the fall, and I amended it with the fertilizers and stuff that I need to amend it with. I'm going to be doing the no-till method on the sweet corn because I'm not in here tilling. It was tilled back in the fall. I'm just taking and hoeing a furrow down through here. Not going to fertilize it when I put it out because I put some this fall, and I don't think the greens used up what was all here. I'm going to drop my seeds down through here roughly 8 inches apart and cover them up. And we're going to see how the no-till method in the dog pen works out for the Stowell Evergreen Corn. Well, we get asked questions all the time. Danny, I don't have the equipment you have. What can I do to grow my stuff? Well, I'm using this hoe right here. I bought from a hardware store to make my rows. Makes rows really easy. And I hope this will maybe answer your questions because we're not coming in here with a tractor. I'm not going to be plowing this or anything like that. I'm going to be just using conventional old-fashioned hose to hoe it with, and I'm going to hill it up with hose. I'll side dress it with this thing right here. Everything, I'll do all that with it by hand to show you all that, you know, I did till it in the beginning in the fall. And if you can't till it, then you know, you have to take a shovel and do what they call double dig it, and then just get you one of these hose here, and you should be able to do the same exact thing. So we're going to plant this the old-fashioned method, just by hand. And I have the thing that drops the seeds. It's up at the barn. I'm not going to use that here because I'm not really that picky. I have enough seeds right here, I think, to plant all of the whole thing when I'm through. If I have any extra, I may go back and drop a few extras in it so that if some of them don't come up, at least I've got a decent stand and I can thin it to whatever I need to thin it to.
Back in the day, this is what we did anyways.
Oh,
just drop from the top, and wherever it landed, that's where it landed.
Yeah, when we were kids, this is how you done it. When we were
Nobody
kids.
cared how many inches apart exactly.
No, nobody thought nothing about that back then. You just planted, and then when you come through to hoe it, if it was too thick, you just hoed out what was too thick. You know, because seeds were plentiful, like we talked about in one of our videos. You know, people didn't worry about how much.
You bought them corn by the pound.
You didn't go buy seeds in packs like this, you know. I mean, you go into an implement store, they had these scoops, and it was 1/4 of a pound, 1/8 of a pound, 1/4 of a pound, 1/2 a pound, 1 pound, you know. And a lot of times they had it pre-measured out. I mean, you go to our feed store right now, and they already have the corn pre-measured out in like 1 pound, 1/2 pound, 1/4 pound, the old-fashioned way. It's just that these seed companies saw a way to capitalize on making more money selling fewer seeds. I'm kind of keeping up here to see. Now my spacing's not exactly 8. Some of it was like 6, and some of it, and one pack did not quite get me to the
halfway mark. Well, about halfway.
Got me a little past halfway, I guess. So I'm gonna be pushing it close, having enough of these to do it. This is a little aggravating because when you got the no-till method, you get all the junk in with it. You have to kind of hoe all that stuff out, or rake it out, because you ain't got no, you didn't till it all under.